Hey guys, welcome to the final video in the How to Get All A Stars or Nines series. This video is all about study tips, and I'm literally proof of how useful these tips are because I would only study about 2 hours a day, and that got me pretty far. So I hope that some of these tips are really useful, and good luck on whatever exams you're studying for. So for specific studying tips, timetabling, but only a week in advance. Because say you timetable a month, you don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks' time. What if something really big happens and you can't revise for like 2 hours and then it throws off 2 days and then it throws off the rest of your entire schedule. So do like a week in advance so you're not beating yourself up if you fall behind. And making sure that you're writing specific things into your calendar and not just the subject. You know, write down the topic, write down the subtopic even, and write down what studying method you're going to use. And by writing these topics and subtopics, you can tell which areas you still need to revise when you go back and look at your calendar. Time management strategies. So you have the Pomodoro, which is quite famous. That's like 25 minutes working with a 5-minute break. I personally did like 50 minutes working in a 10-minute break because when I get into it, I get quite focused. So 25 minutes was too short for me. Taking regular breaks is important too. Prevents burnout, keeps you sane, blah-de-da. Eat the frog. That is, I think I said that quite aggressively. Eat the frog is when you do the hardest thing first, so then it's not like looming over you, it's not like in the back of your head and making you mess up in other stuff because you're constantly thinking about that difficult thing. Put your phone in another room to limit distractions. You know, you've got to keep out of your sight, and that really helps you get focused. Breaking tasks into smaller and more manageable parts definitely makes it seem less overwhelming. Also, you can tick them off if you write it on a to-do list, and I love ticking off. I love ticking off tasks that I finished. I think that's really good. Be realistic about how long tasks will take. So I think this is why I personally did not take any notes. Obviously I had the classroom ones, but apart from that I didn't do notes because they just take so long. It was taking me like half an hour to do 2 sides of A4, and that would be like half a subtopic, so it was not worth it. So I think studying has different levels, different foundations. So on the bottom level we have, oh, that's a bit small actually. So on the bottom level, you have reading stuff. So reading stuff is all about like going through and highlighting textbooks, watching videos, and then above reading, you've got to understand it. So understanding is stuff like summarizing the information you've just read, the Feynman technique, which is where you explain the information to, well, you pretend to explain it to a 5-year-old if you like don't have access to a 5-year-old. Doing mind maps and diagrams. And then above understanding you have memorizing. So this is all to do with that, to recall like flashcards, blurting. And then on the very top, creme de la creme, we have application, and that is past paper questions. Yeah. And once you do this order, you get it all done, you'll literally smash it. That's basically studying in a nutshell. Knowing that different subjects have different focuses, like different types of revision needed, right? So biology is very much memorizing mark schemes and definitions. So focusing on that is much more useful compared to in physics. My phone ran out of storage, so it just cut off everything else I recorded, which is really annoying. But anyway, I think I was talking about how different subjects require different types of study. So yeah, with physics, there's a lot of marks for equations, so you really need to be familiar with like converting units and rearranging formulas. Using the specification to revise is so important, right? Because the specification is basically everything that could be tested, and so making sure that you know everything that's on it, and also making sure you don't over revise and you don't learn things that are unnecessary, because I'm pretty sure legally they can only test you on what's on the specification anyway. Also making sure that when you get a past paper question wrong, you write down the mark scheme answer on like a piece of paper or something like that, something that you keep, something that you'll remember to go back to. And that's really helpful because, especially with subjects like biology, where you need to know the exact definitions, the exact wording for answers, I would do those on a flashcard where you'd have the question on one side and then you'd have the mark scheme on the other side, and you can have like a question bank. Also, don't underestimate how important 5 minutes a day could be, because everybody has days where you're literally like, for some reason you're just so busy and you don't have time to revise. But even just fitting in this 5 minutes and making sure that you're doing some sort of work every day can be really useful. Also, linked to over revising. So at least for like GCSEs and A levels, it's not based on your percentage, it's based on a grade. So why spend ages trying to get to like 90% when you only need 60% for a 9? You know, so work smarter, not harder. Just get to the highest, or get to whichever grade you're aiming for, and then spend the rest of your time improving on subjects that you're struggling in, or just having a social life, you know, because you do need to have a balance. You really need to have a balance, and I cannot stress that enough. You cannot just be studying all day, every day. Making sure to reflect on what works and constantly improving your study methods, your time management, so you're always at the top of your game. So in conclusion, I want you to remember that you are more than a grade, you are more than what you achieve academically. And I'm staring into the camera right now because I really want to drill this into you. You are a person with so much love, you are a person with so much kindness and generosity, you support people, you make people laugh and smile, people value your company, okay? And not because of your grades. You can do so much good in this world without getting the grades that you think you need to get, okay? People will still love you, like, regardless. And if they don't, then they're not the real ones for you, because you are so much more than your grades. Also, don't be too hard on yourself, you know? It's a process and there's going to be ups and downs, so really being in that positive mindset and growth mindset is really important. So don't push yourself too hard. Obviously, you need to push yourself a bit, but not to the point of burnout, and making sure that you consistently do self-care as well. And you're spending time with people you love, spending time in nature, that is really important as well. Because you've got to prioritize your mental health, right? The future isn't always guaranteed. You know, things could happen and you never know what the next day is going to bring. If you're watching this video after you've gotten your mock grades and you don't do as well as you thought you did, don't worry about it. Literally don't stress about it, because I promise you, you will do better, okay? Because I know probably every single person that I know has gone up in at least one subject by at least 2 grades. And if they can do it, why can't you? And who's to say you can't go up even more? Say if you were on a 3 and you wanted a 9, no one's stopping you apart from yourself. You get that 9. You can get that 9. Use your results as motivation to get a better grade in the real exam, rather than looking at that result as a limitation. Because I know that it's predicted, but you can surpass their predictions, like, by far. And making sure you do extracurriculars like clubs, volunteering, sports, musical instruments, keeping up with your interests and stuff, they can be so much more valuable than like perfect grades, you know, because universities want to see that you're passionate about the subject that you want to do if you're thinking of going to university. So say if you're a STEM person, spending loads of effort to get an A star in English Lit when you could be using that time to do wider reading or getting work experience might not be the best idea. You know, universities would much rather see your passion for the subject that you're applying for. And yeah, just always make sure that you're looking back on how far you've come, because it can be really easy to think and stress and worry about how far you have to go and not actually take into account of how much you've improved and just how much you've accomplished and achieved, you know, things that maybe you thought you never would be able to. So be proud of yourself and always think of that first, rather than how much you still have to do. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want me to make another video on any of the things that I've talked about, or after watching the mindset video and the other general sort of tips video, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, definitely let me know. And I'm sure that you'll smash it, whatever exams you're revising for. Love you.